All right, folks, welcome back to a new season, 2025. No Aaron Rodgers for the first time. The Jets do not have one 4 o'clock start game this season. They have two night games, one in the super early morning in London, and what a difference it makes depending on who your quarterback is. And of course, I'd like people to chime in and think what they think about the Jets this year. And the expectations are a lot lower than they have been the last 2 years. It's so much to discuss, and we'll try to do it in a short time. But how's it going, Ed? Welcome back.
Very good, Dave. Just want to say you said no Aaron Rodgers, but unfortunately we're seeing Aaron Rodgers on Sunday, right? So that's kind of funny how
Yeah,
we started this with Aaron Rodgers and now we're
yeah.
going to at least begin season three with Aaron Rodgers.
It's so interesting because you have Aaron Rodgers who knows the Jets, and then you have Justin Fields who knows the Steelers. So it's I can't say it's a wash because they have a better quarterback and a better coach, the Steelers. But I don't know what to think about this whole season. I mean, well, I take that back. I don't expect too much this season. I just expect, and I think all Jet fans expect, a competent football team that even if we're losing, we're not losing because we're only scoring like 3 points or 10 points or whatever. Uh, and like I says, what do you think in a nutshell before we get deep into it about your general feeling about the Jets this season?
Well, as a long-suffering Jet fan, I'm not expecting much, Dave, but I like Aaron Glenn. I like bringing a local guy back, like, him, and I'm hoping that he's going to be disciplined. I'm hoping he's a good coach. I'm hoping the team can tighten up, and I like the fact that he says he's going to run the ball a lot. So hopefully they can, I'm not expecting much, so if I get 7 wins, I'd be happy, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that gets into the game planning for the game. I mean, it's no secret. I got to chuckle a little bit. I mean, I'm not a Justin Fields fan. Listen, this could be complete reverse psychology because obviously I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be the man. I foolishly thought Zach Wilson was going to be the man. Now I think Justin Fields isn't the man. So maybe it'll happen the other way around. Third team, I don't know if he can pass the ball or not. And it's quite obvious that the Steelers are going to just get in that box and make sure they don't run the ball and force them to pass. So it's going to be evident early what's going to happen. And if the Jets can run the ball, listen, there are plenty of teams in the NFL, and college is another story. That well, let's go back to the days with Sanchez, right? I think he sucked personally. The Jets. Everybody knew that the Jets were going to run the ball, and they still ran the ball, right? Successfully. So now, if the Jets have a good defense and they can run the ball, this might go back to the Rex Ryan ever. Maybe we could be successful that way. I mean, listen, what do you think? I mean, how much, if you want to compare Justin Fields to Mark Sanchez, I never thought of that before, right? I mean,
It's a tough comparison. And I know you don't like Mark Sanchez, but at the end of the day, he did take us to two AFC Championship games in a row. So he did what he had to do. The one thing without comparing it to, the one thing that I am intrigued by a little bit is the fact that Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson did have chemistry in college in Ohio State together. So I'm hoping that that chemistry can reignite and they can have some, that he could at least. I know
yeah,
you can't really compare the NFL to the NCAA in college, but I'm hoping that they did have that connection in college, and I'm hoping that we could
yeah.
see some of that here.
And Ed, shame on me and possibly you for not looking up the stats because I wonder how often they connected in college. Because they were on the same team, but I mean, I don't know what they exactly did. I mean, Justin Fields being a scrambler and whatnot. That might be something to look up. So anyway, getting back to the game, which I will be going to, and I'm hoping to post some video of the. This will be my third year in a row going to the Jet home opener. So we know that the goal of the Pittsburgh Steelers is to force Justin Fields to pass the ball down the field.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
uh,
As you said, they're gonna load the box
yeah,
early
and
and
and listen, if Aaron Glenn is a good coach, it's not going to be a problem. When we had Bill Parcells as a coach, the team was like 1-15, and all of a sudden they just you know 12 it up.
they
So
did.
coaching will be the difference this time. Coaching could be the difference this time. We're going to see what happens. And basically, also, I've heard that half the stadium at MetLife is probably going to be loaded with Steeler fans. Close to 50%, I heard. I don't know if that's a rumor or not, but it makes sense, with the Steelers being a well traveled team and being successful in the past. Uh, and it's basically looking at this Jet team, I don't think they're going to be a come from behind team. Anything they do this year that's successful is going to be shockingly, it's going to be a surprise for us. In the past, we expected the Jets to be good, and they were bad. Now I feel like I expect the Jets to be not so good. So if they're good, it'll be a surprise. So it's a very different type of a season this year.
Great. And just Dave, just the beauty of the internet, shame on us, but I just looked it up quickly, and Garrett Wilson has 73 receptions for 1,155 yards and 11 touchdowns in 2 years with Justin Fields. That's not shabby numbers.
Not shabby numbers. I mean, considering what kind of quarterback Fields is, that should have been a number for 1 year, but it's not too bad. Like I said, I did mention that I heard that half the Steeler fans are going to be there taking over the stadium.
It's going to be, yes, the Steeler fans travel. I went to a couple of years ago, I went to a giant Steeler game, and there was like 40% of terrible towels. I think there's going to be a lot of Steeler fans there tomorrow, yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. And, like I said, I'm one of the few people that really, I'm big on the preseason football. The Jets had a great first preseason game. It was very impressive. After that, I didn't see much. I was also surprised that Aaron Glenn didn't have the entire starting team playing the first half of the last preseason game to see what's going on. I know why they do that, but
yeah, that's just league. I think that's league wide now. It's not just, you can't just the team. I think it's mostly league wide now they do that. But speaking of Elijah, the one thing with the line, what to run. I mean, Elijah, that was to me that's one thing that really. Typical Jets beginning of the season. Elijah Vera Tucker goes down with a season-ending injury. You're counting on, once again, if you're going to run the ball, you need that line in there, and that's just.
I tell you, the bottom line right now is knowing we know about the Jets, but they want to run the ball, and knowing that Justin Fields possibly is not a passer, we know that this is all going to depend on the defense. They're going to have an outstanding defense to stay in these games, and listen, this is really a good game because the Steelers are not the Baltimore Ravens or the Kansas City Chiefs, whatever. They're a very good football team, but depending on how the Jets do against them, and that's my other question, are we going to leave there laughing like, oh my God, that was embarrassing? Listen, my biggest fear is going back a few years, well, every year, watching a football game where the Jets only score like 10 points or 17 points, 3 plays and punt. I'd rather see them lose like 30-40 than those kind of games. And I'm afraid that it's going to be low-scoring, boring football.
I think it will be. I mean, I think for no other reason, and I think Aaron Glenn is going to connect with the defense. They're going to respect him. They're going to want to play. It's opening day, stadium, new regime. They're going to want to make an effort. They're going to be playing really well. I think the defense. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. So I don't think it's going to be a high. I think I'd be surprised if. And I mean, Aaron Rodgers is beat up. I mean, let's be honest. I'm a little joking that we were before we went online saying that, typical Jets game is going to be Aaron Rodgers throwing for 400 yards, slicing us up and throwing for 4 touchdowns. But I see a low-scoring game. I see the defense really stepping up because they're going to be, Aaron Glenn's going to inspire them. The crowd's going to be into the Jet fans that are there, not the terrible towel waivers, but the Jet fans that are there will be.
Yeah.
I think they got a lot to prove too. So I think the defense will step up on Sunday.
Well, listen, it's also like a Rodgers revenge thing. I'm fascinated to see how Rodgers does and what his final numbers are because he had his worst numbers as a Jet last year. So I'd be curious to see if he lights it up and, has some kind of crazy numbers. Or does he get sacked? Does he get hurt in the first game? I mean, we know he's not mobile, so the Jets know you have to force him, out of the pocket. There's a game plan here. Like, they know Justin Fields is mobile. They know Aaron Rodgers isn't mobile. They know the running game for the Jets is important. So there's a certain game plan here, and they're going to have to adjust on the fly, like they said in the past, because it's the first game of the season. But Rodgers' revenge, he definitely is looking to, stick it to the Jets. But the Jets have a good defense, so he might not be able to do that.
Agreed, yeah. And also, and Mike Zimmer's a great coach. I can't see him knowing that Aaron Rodgers had these two, 1 year he didn't play at all, and then 1 year was mediocre. He's not gonna. I think he's gonna start with his game plan with knowing that not trusting Rodgers initially. And I think so. If Rodgers happens to light it up, then he's gonna let loose a little bit. I think Timlin's gonna control Rodgers a little bit. He's old. He's fragile.
Yeah.
I can't see him wild letting him run loose.
Yeah, you're gonna see probably a lot of 2-3 step drops and pass the ball within 2 seconds from Rodgers. Also, I don't think he's gonna be hanging out back there in the pocket too long.
Nope.
Obviously, Tomlin knows Justin Fields very well. He felt Russell
Yes.
Wilson was better than him, so he must know his faults also. This goes back to like when I know because Fields was drafted the same time as Wilson, and there was so many excuses and so many angry sports announcers backing Justin Fields. He has bad coaching. He has no receivers. He has no offensive line. And then he went
Yep.
to the Pittsburgh and he got sad. Now he's with the Jets. So the only thing he can do is surprise us and play well and pass well. It remains to be seen.
And he's got a lot to prove because I think that the Jets are looking at him as a long-term solution, looking at him as a stopgap to drafting someone else. So I think that he's got a
Yeah.
lot to prove too. He wants to move on as well. So hopefully,
And this is Fields'
stars
basically
align for us.
yeah, this is Fields' last chance to be a starter. I mean, if he doesn't do well
Agreed.
here, he'll be a backup next year. They'll get traded, and the Jets will pick somebody in the draft, whatever. So, and I don't know. Like I says, preseason, I have never seen a Jet. I want to go on record. I haven't looked it up. I have never seen a Jet in my lifetime, going back to the '80s, whether it was a rookie, whether it was a starter, whether it was anybody, have a preseason like Jackson Dart.
Agreed. That was great.
And this is why I think preseason is important. So now, if Jackson Dart becomes a superstar starter in the future, people are like, "Hey, preseason don't matter." I'm not looking at the final score. I'm looking at the numbers of the players. Whatever. I'm looking at those numbers, and I know they're not playing complicated defenses, and I know the Jets weren't, but none of the Jets quarterbacks did what Jackson Dart did. You know what I'm saying? There's something to be said about it. There's something to be said about it.
I was joking at work today, and with some Giant fans and saying, what week is he going to start? And they were saying week 11 would be good if they said for him because they know that 10 weeks the bye week, and if they move him in there.
I hope I'm wrong, Eddie, but once again, I don't know how many years in a row it's been. Could be 5, could be 6, could be 7. I have seen the Jets have a lackluster preseason football, and if everything goes the way it's been going, it's going to be a lackluster season.
The season.
When you watch these other teams, I don't care who they're playing against. I don't care if it's the fifth string defense. When they're scoring 30 points a game in preseason, I don't care who it is, and the Jets are scoring 10 and 15 and 20, and there's something to it. There's something to it. I don't know. I think so. But Jackson Dart, this is the first time I can remember in 3, 4, 5 years that the Giants are getting more radio play than the Jets. Because the Jets are always always the Jets, and now the Giants are pretty much nothing going on with them. So, and like I said, when we leave the stadium on Sunday, are we going to be laughing like, oh boy, it's going to be a long season, or are we going to say, hey, that was a good competitive game, win or lose? I mean, you hope they win. I'm saying because after that we got Buffalo, we got Tampa Bay, and we'll be 0-3 before you know it.
Agreed.
They have a better chance at beating Pittsburgh, Eddie, than they do at Buffalo and Tampa Bay.
I agree,
right?
especially like you said, the home opener. I agree. I totally agree. I think they can win the games. Will they win the game? I said I think it's going to be a low-scoring competitive game on Sunday.
Yep.
It's coming on top. I think that's what I think.
So with that being said, I got I hand wrote out the schedule basically, and we're going to go game by game and see what we have here as far as what we think they're good. Now listen. I like to do this a few different ways, but I guess we'll do it what we really think is going to happen. Then there's a way to do it of what we think should happen. So like I always say, hey, if you have a decent team, you should beat Pittsburgh. But will you beat Pittsburgh? I don't know. But let's assume that they have a nice head coach now who's not going to say every week like Saleh did, oh, that defense was pretty tough. Like all those, pat on the back, and we'll try harder next week. So I like the fact that we have a good head coach, I think.
I agree too. I'm tired with that coddling the players.
The whole Oh, I'm not going to yell at him. You already know he did something wrong. I'm like, you got to make people accountable. You got to, make sure they're a little nervous and stuff like that. All right. So anyway, if you might want to refresh my memory, I wrote down the teams. I'm not sure who's home, who's away for all the games. But so the first game at the Steelers. Now, I don't have too much confidence in Aaron Rodgers when he played with the Jets and the mobility. The Jets are a home team, and I just I feel like the Jets should be able to squeak this out. So I'm going to give the Jets a win on that one.
I as well. Opening down, I agree with you, Dave. I'm going to say Jets going to win this game Sunday.
All right. And you need that one. Okay, now we have the Bills. I'm going to take a loss at that one.
I would agree as well.
All right. And then we have the Buccaneers at the Buccaneers. I'm going to that game, by the way.
That's very cool.
I'll tell you about that later. I think it's going to be a loss. The Buccaneers are a very good team.
Yeah,
We're,
well,
we're,
yeah,
we're
I
all
agree.
we're all hoping that Justin Fields is Baker Mayfield. And then we have
Yeah,
now here we
I
go.
think they're gonna lose to the Bucks as well after that.
Yeah, so now we got the Dolphins. You got to beat the Dolphins, man. You got to beat the Dolphins. I don't think the Dolphins are better than the Steelers. I think you got to beat the Dolphins.
They're playing the Dolphins. It's also it's down there. I mean, I think they're gonna split. I think they're gonna split with the Dolphins, but it's also it's a what do you call it? That's a night game, right? So that's I could you know what? I think they're gonna split the Dolphins, so I could say that they'll let's give them that win, and I'll say they're gonna lose the next one. I think they're gonna split the Dolphins.
Yeah,
So
I
let's
can
give
agree
them-
with
I'll put
that.
in a win.
I can agree with that. All right. Now the Cowboys played very well against the Eagles, and I'm glad we're doing this after that game. I don't see the Jets beating the Cowboys. I think that's going to be a loss.
I don't. Yeah, it's also it's in Dallas, so that's a tough game in Dallas. Oh, that's home. That's a home game. But then again, you're going to see an enormous amount of Cowboy fans in Giants in MetLife.
Yeah.
I had Jets season tickets. I remember the one time we played the Cowboys, it was like half full, and the Jets were in contention at those times, and there was a bunch of Cowboys fans.
That's just about the Steelers
game.
game. So you think they're going to win or lose?
They're going to lose that game. I put that in a loss column.
All right, we're in lockstep here. All right,
Yeah.
this one I feel is an easy one, and this game is going to be in London, I believe, and the Broncos at the Jets. And I'll tell you right now, that's going to be a loss for the Jets.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say they're going to beat the Broncos in London.
Okay, because they're expected to possibly win the division or be in the playoffs. The Broncos. So
Agree,
okay,
but the Broncos only 10-7 last year, so I could see the I'm going to say the Jets are going to show up for the international game, and so I'll put that in a win column for the Jets.
all right. Now we have the Panthers. I think we can win the Panthers.
Yeah, the Panthers are pretty pathetic, right? We could definitely beat the Panthers.
I mean, this is like we're talking was the Bengals. They're not beating the Bengals.
They're not beating the Bengals, no.
No. All right, so we got the Browns. I don't know what the Browns are this year. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the Browns.
Last year, so I could see the. I mean, they can't if you can't beat a team that's 3, they can't turn around from 3-14. So I think they're going to beat the Browns.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Home game.
Who knows who the quarterback's going to be for the Browns by then? All right, now we're getting something interesting because this is the big unknown: the Patriots.
I'm hearing a lot of chatter that the Patriots are going to be a surprise team this year. I don't know why there's people saying that, but I heard that a few times. I was listening to the fan yesterday. They were saying that they were reading some reports that the Athletic was saying that's a Derek Jeter.
I guess
they're going to be good.
The new coach and the quarterback.
Up there, that's tough win. Notwithstanding tough win, I'm going to put that one in the loss column.
Yeah. Do you have is that a home game or is that a away game?
That's at New England, so I think that's where they're going to lose that.
All right, so I'll do that too. I'll do the loss with that too. All right, the Ravens. We're not beating the Ravens.
That could be an ugly game as well. That's in Baltimore. It could be an ugly game.
Yeah. All right, now the Falcons.
They should beat the Falcons.
We could beat the Falcons, I think. Okay. Now we have the Dolphins. Now we had them winning to the Dolphins, but this is going to be a home game for the Jets. So maybe they have some stuff figured out.
I'll put this. I think they're going to split with the Dolphins, and they might split with split with New England. So I'm going to say they're going to win that game.
All right, we got that going. Then we got the Jaguars. Oh, what a disaster! They're not that good.
Yeah, they could beat that. They're going to beat the Jaguars. They should beat the Jaguars.
Yeah. And then we got the Saints. I'll give them a win.
I agree too. I think they could pull they were 5-12. Saints.
Right. I mean, we're assuming that the Jets are a decent team,
Yes.
All right. Now you have the Patriots again, and I don't know these Patriots. I don't know what they are.
The home game. I think they're going to split with the Patriots. I'm going to say that they're going to win one of those games. So if I said that, did I say they were going to lose the first game?
We both said that we're going to lose to the Patriots.
So I think they'll win. They can win at home. I think they'll split.
Yeah, let me see what. Yeah, we said yes. I'll go with that too. And this is based on they have things figured out. Maybe now. All right, so the Bills. I don't think we're beating the Bills again. That way we're playing them.
Not that last game at home. The Bills might be playing for home field in the playoffs. That game that could be a big game for the Bills, and it's not going to be for the Jets. So I can't. I think the Jets. That could be an ugly game for the Jets, depending on how things play out.
Yeah. So we got. Let me see what we got here. All right, so I got 9-8. Wow, you have 10-7. I have 9-8.
Well, we're optimistic, and that's we should both bet in. I think the over under for the Jet win was 6.5 in Vegas, so we should both bet the over. We both.
And you know what? Like this is really good because this is a fair assessment, and it's not a crazy way one way or the other. This is basically if the Jets are just a capable football team and they have a 10-7 or 9-8 record, they might be able to get into a wild card somehow, you know. But
Possible.
I'm very curious to see how this offense is going to perform and what kind of points they're going to put up. And listen, I love football because you know right away. I mean, unless Brady Cook steps in somehow, I don't know how Brady Cook. He looked pretty good in preseason. All right. Anyway, that's about it, though. We're gonna wrap it up. And
Yep.
like I said, hopefully people might chime in. I'll do a nice title on this and say leave comments. I'm curious to see what other people think about the Jets this year. It's a very different kind of a year. Interesting nonetheless, and we're not expecting much. So that to
Not
me that's kind
expecting
of
much.
yeah. So it won't be that much frustrations, but there is going to be some laughter if they have a disaster of a team because that's all we know. So and let's not forget
We know,
about
exactly.
Mason Taylor, tight end for the
I was
Jets.
gonna say Mason. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to him as tight end. I'm
that,
looking. I'm hoping he's penciled in as a starter, right? I'm
we
hoping
never
he's gonna be.
we never throw to a tight with him. Maybe that could be it. Listen, tight ends are good. The running backs are good. The receivers are pretty good. And now it's all about the coaching. They don't have a horrible team or roster, so
No, agreed. The talent
the
is
coaching
decent.
should be able to get to this 10-7, 9-8 minimal. We feel the same way.
I'm
So,
hoping. We're hoping. We've seen a lot of things going on. But we both agree. We're both
yeah,
optimistic for the
yeah,
first
yeah,
broadcast of our season. So let's
yep,
hopefully we're both smiling on Sunday afternoon.
yep. And we'll keep you posted. I'm going to try to do some video of the game, and also I'm going to be on to Tampa, and we'll talk some more. And I'm hoping to post some more videos. So, thanks, Ed. Have a great night. Appreciate it.
You as well, Dave. Thanks.
All
As
right,
always, thank you.
all right. Take care.